Hello everyone, once again this is Zach from Power9Pro.com, and we are here with another cube draft, again thanks to Mrs. Thea Steele of StarCityGames.com fame. Our opening pack is interesting, to say the least. We have, there are a few ways we can go with this pack. There's the Isochron Scepter, and Isochron Scepter is a card, if you get it first pick, you can really build your deck around it. It's a really fun card to have in your deck. But it's also a kind of high variance deck in that you really have to get a bunch of card draw, removal, and other things to make sure your deck works. That said, I'm going to take the Mimic Vat just because I love Mimic Vat. It's really good in all formats, and the rest of this pack kind of seems underpowered compared to the Mimic Vat. Oh, okay. Also, obviously, picking Mimic Vat leaves our colors open. So here's where we're going to have to pick a direction for our deck to go, sort of. Iomori, the Open Fist, is a really good 4-drop, really strong. Mana Leak, obviously, is a fantastic counterspell. Soltari Priest, Strong Farm Pegasus, both very good white aggro cards. Oh crap! I forgot. You only have 30 seconds here, so my commentary will be limited. So I goof picked something there. I don't know what. Here I will take the. I'll take Flame Javelin. It's a really good removal spell. Oh, we took Obstinate Bailout. Okay, well that's not the worst. Flame Javelin's a really good burn spell. It's very efficient. It's 4 damage for 3 mana, and you know, I wouldn't mind going some sort of very aggro-ish plan here, and with all this burn, I'm definitely open to doing that sort of thing. So I'll take the Hellspark element. No, I'll take Volcanic Hammer here, I think, or Rift Bolt. I know, I'll take Rift Bolt, I guess. Hopefully, some of those will come around. We'll just try and draft the very aggressive deck. Is base red. And now, of course, there are no red cards in this pack. Here we have Skin Render. And that's good in the white aggro deck. Since we're not necessarily playing that Bailoff, I'll just take Skin Render here. It's always, it's good in Scars draft. It's good in Cube. All right, here we have some more excellent aggressive cards. We have Fire Blast and Burst Lightning. I'm going to take I think I'm going to take Fire Blast here. We still really haven't chosen our second color. We just know that we're going to be red. Whatever nice aggressive creatures come by. Hopefully we'll wheel something out of those first few packs, because there were things like Hellspark Elementals and like a Volcanic Hammer, and there was the the Portal 3 Kingdoms, I think it is, variant of Volcanic Hammer. It's the same thing, except it's like Fire Ambush or something like that. I'm not quite sure. But so that's something to be on the lookout for. All right, Zozu the Punisher is the pretty clear pick here. It's a very aggressive creature, deals damage. That's what we want. Rancor, I think, is a very good green card for what we want. Here we have Isochron Scepter versus Hell's Thunder. I will take Hell's Thunder again. If we can Hell's Thunder Mimic Vat would be pretty sick. So we are base red, and we can either go into green for Rancor or black for Skin Render. Green is looking more attractive because Rancor is absolutely sick, and we have so much removal in our deck that Skin Render's value goes down slightly. So that's something to consider. But really, if we ended up mono red, I wouldn't be upset at all. I'll take Riverboa. It's a really good tool against the blue decks. It's extremely powerful, especially if we can stick a Rancor on it or something. Like, if you remember, what happened to my last draft was our deck was kind of slow, and so if you get an early Boa, it's very hard to come back from. We'll take the Gitu Slinger. This reminds me of Fire Imp, which is a card that's in it's in Portal Second Age, I think it is, and it's in Master Edition 4, where it's the same mana cost for 2/1 and deals 2 damage to target creature when it comes into play with no echo, and I really love that card, and I think that's a card that could very easily go into like a core set or something. I'll take Molten Rain here, and I really enjoy Fire Imp. I think it would be a fine addition to. I don't know if Taya has it in the cube yet, but it'd probably be a very good addition. As Master Edition 4 has just been out for a couple days. But that's my pet card is Fire Imp. Although I don't actually own one in real life. It's like in 10th edition, Bogarden Fire Fiend was a reprint. And it was the same thing. It was 3 mana for a 2/1, except when it went to the graveyard, you got to deal 2 damage to something. And so it was obviously not nearly as good, whereby Fire Imp's like a mini Flame Tongue Kabu, which I think would be really good for limited and whatnot. Let's hate this Teferi's mode, just because if someone names red, it might undo us. Oh, Braids and Curdape. If we end up red-green, I will happily play Curdape. And a Ravnica Karoo, which we are almost guaranteed to not play. See, the one thing I kind of dislike about this software is that it doesn't give you how much time you have left. Like, I know there's a 30-second time limit, but you don't know how much longer there is. So there's, especially in deep packs, and while I'm trying to commentate, and especially since I don't know 100% what all these cards I have to refresh myself, it kind of sucks that, you end up goof picking second pick or whatever. But, the one great thing about the cube is that you can do that, and it's not going to, you're not going to lose because of it. Alright, and so we have Skirk Marauder when it turns. Oh, that's pretty good. But we have a Ember Hauler, which is also insane, and I'm going to have to go with Blood Right Off. Great aggressive card. Red-green, that's what we want to be doing. I will happily pick that. I remember I picked that really early last draft. Didn't pan out because we went blue-black control, but in this deck it looks exactly like the sort of deck that wants Blood Right Off. You have my Elder. That's alright. Troll Aesthetic's pretty solid. 4 damage each other creature. That's like a sweeper. Elfin Guide. Stormlights also can't be the worst, but that's probably gonna wheel. I'll take Troll Aesthetic. It's a hard to deal with threat. The only thing I'm concerned about is the double green, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah, if we're going all out aggro, might as well go balls to the walls. Take this as a Goblin Patrol. Not a ton else in this pack we might play. Like, we might take the Stag as sideboard. Spike Shot Elder. I think this is a card Taya has been actually considering removing from the queue. I think she made a blog post about that. But we'll take it here. We can rank her up our Spike Shot Elder, which is pretty good. And, if we happen to pick up like another equipment or something later in the draft, that's fine. There was an Elephant Guide earlier I wouldn't mind taking. So. Alright, here we have Oxus Scrap Melter. Oh, we have Goblin Guide and Arc Trail. I gotta go with Goblin Guide. As much as I love Arc Trail, Goblin Guide is definitely sort of exactly the card we want in this deck. It's balls to the walls aggro. Goblin Guide just makes our other Goblin Patrol just looks so much worse. Albino Troll. Well, 2 mana 3/3. That's good. I'm gonna take Fire Slinger. I think the Pinger, the 2 mana Pinger is very good. And Blood Knight is a very solid card. It comes down to Blood Knight or Mog War Marshal. Obviously, I don't intend on getting double green on turn 2. I'm going to take Blood Knight just because the protection's very useful and it dominates the early game. There are very few other creatures in the early game that will engage in combat with Blood Knight favorably. So, I don't know if I'm probably going to main deck it. Its abilities are not irrelevant at all. Although I could see myself sideboarding it out if we pick up some sick sideboard cards. Ooh, here we have very little. I guess I'll take the bop. I don't know. Like, I don't intend on having, like, turtle and green all the time, but it's either that or Vampire Lacerator. I'll actually take Lacerator, just in case we do end up, like, I don't know, black. I just don't see bop being very good. I don't. Could end up playing Jund if we picked up the mana. There was a Verdant Catacombs in that last pack, and I think there are some other fetch lands around here, as well as the Shards, Trilands, and various dual lands that might be able to help us support it, but I'm not sure. Skirk Marauder versus I don't know. I'm not sold on the black plan because I really like Rancor and Bloodbraid Elf, so I'll take the Skirk Marauder. For those of you that don't know, the Star City Games Open Series has been taking place this weekend in Kansas City. I've been watching what of the coverage I can. I did not watch. I don't think top four. I didn't watch top four of the standard portion. They did that on day 2 for some reason. I assume time constraints. So here we have Elephant Guide versus Stormbind. I'm actually going to take Stormbind here because I'm really interested to see how that plays out. I remember back in Time Straw Limited, this card is actually pretty solid. And Sable Stag is always a good addition against the blue-black decks. Necromancy actually almost did us in round 1 of last draft. Hall of Omens seems like it could be hard for us. It's kind of annoying having to hate draft these last 5 picks or whatever. But, you know. Hopefully Pack 3 will be kind to us. Anyway, so yeah, Star City Games Open. We had a really diverse top 4, I believe. We had Conley Woods playing Blue-Green Genesis Wave, which I think is great. I love Conley Woods. He's just an awesome guy. Love his decks and all that. And then we had a Blue-Black player, which, of course, Blue-Black is the deck I play in Standard. I think it's one of the best decks in the format, if not the best, assuming it's built correctly. I always think that there is an optimal control list, but I don't think anyone has it yet. So I think if someone can build the correct... Ooh, I'll take Albino Troll. I think you can build very bad control decks, you can build okay control decks, and then there's some list, some configuration that will just be really, really good. And so I think there'll be a ton of players that go to any given event with a control deck, but very few of them will have the best list because there are a few personal touches sort of that can make or break a deck. Oh man, this is such a sick pick because at first I saw the Bargart Ram game, I'm like sick, and then I saw the FTK and I'm like sick, and then I saw Vengevine and I'm like, oh well, I guess I have to take Vengevine here. Hopefully we'll wheel one of these two, but I don't expect it. This is a very strong pack though with Shriekmaw and Cryptic Command. Alright, so I think I'm going to take Briarhorn here. Briarhorn or Cunning Spark Mage? I really like Briarhorn, though. Big fan of Briarhorn. One thing we do want to consider when building your deck is what are we Bloodbraid Elfing into? Is that a verb? Bloodbraid Elfing? Remember, we can't Bloodbraid Elf into Flame Javelin because it's converted mana cost to 6 because of the monocolored hybrid mechanic. But other than that, like the only things that are bad are stuff like our morph creature is pretty bad. Here we have an interesting choice of Earthquake versus Sulfuric Vortex. I think Sulfuric Vortex will in fact wheel though, and so I'll take the Earthquake. It's really only good in the deck we are trying to make, and it's nice to have Earthquake is it's a blaze effect plus it's the sweeper. Unfortunately, just realizing now, actually, most of our guys do die to the Earthquake, so that kind of sucks. But we'll just have to play it correctly. Either the Pouncing Jaguar or the Vines here. I think I'm going to take Pouncing Jaguar. Yeah, not sure how correct that is. Oh man, here we have Fauna Shaman, Garruk, Wild Nacatl, Bone Splitter, and Blistering Firecat. I think I have to take Blistering Firecat, but I would definitely be open to taking some of those others. Basilisk Collar. Oh man, we do have a Pinger. I think I have to take Collar, and there is a Cunning Spark Mage that might wheel. So we'll Collar's fine because we have the what is it? Well, we can also put on like Fire Slinger's our pinger. And we could also put it on. Oh, and we have a Spike Shot out there. Okay, so we have definitely two great targets. Mask of Memory is really good. Capsize, obviously. A bunch of these are really good, but Char is definitely the pick. No, just drafting lots of burn. Lots of aggressive creatures. One thing I want to do is I want to make sure we do have enough creatures that not only we have some amount of reach in the late game, but that we can buy back our Vengevine, hopefully, at some time. Just because, Vengevine's insane. It's even more insane when you're getting it for free, right? So, Star City Games open results again. So we had a blue-black, blue-green wave. I think we had Rug, and there was one other deck, but it was a very diverse top 8, if I recall. And, that's always something you want to see. I'll take Masted Myers. Gives us some extra draw power, and we can return it with... We can play a creature spell, return Masted Myers, and then play Masted Myers, and then, bring back Vengevine. Call the Herd versus Boggart Ram Gang. I'm going to take the Ram Gang. This is that early pack that everything came out of that we really liked. So, I like Ram Gangs because it's got haste, and that's really what we're going for in this sort of deck. And the Spark Mage Wheels, so we're definitely playing the color. We have 3 pinging effects that go with it, so I think this is going to be this deck's going to be, I think, really good. We've got a lot of synergy. We're very aggressive. It punishes slow draws, so I'm happy with this. Perilous Mirror or Vivid Crag? I think it's Perilous Mirror. It just might be. Well, also Perilous Mirror is really good against us. So, but in the aggro mirror, I can see boarding it in if we don't end up main boarding it. This is a card I haven't added to my cube in real life yet, but I can 100% see why you would add it. It's a very good early game tool for slowing down the aggro decks. Take Vines. Don't expect to play it, but I might. I'll never know. We can Vines our Spike Shot out of there. That'd be pretty good. Whoa, Wildling Cattle. Might as well, right? I don't know if we'll play it, but 1 mana 2/2s are pretty good. I'm actually not even sure if we're going to play Mimic Vat in this deck. Like, there are some great things we can put underneath it, like take Land Realms, like Masted Mirror and Blistering Firecat and Hell's Thunder. Actually, yeah, there's some pretty sick targets. Just any of these big high power guys that die at end of turn are probably pretty sick. And even Vengevine. I don't know. Although Vengevine, you kind of don't mind if it's in the graveyard. Or even just our Echo Gitu Slinger. That's pretty sick under a Mimic Vat. Alright, so here we are in Magic Online, ready to build our deck. So, Flame Javelin, definitely. This is an X. Fire Blast, I know, it's not really a 6, but I'll put it there. Blistering Firecat is a 3. Not sure if I'm playing Molten Rain, I'll move that over to the side. Goblin Guide, definitely. Gun Patrol, most likely. Yes. That's more... Man, I think it's really great that we got all these pingers and the collar. I think it's gonna make for a really awesome deck. Bloodbraid Elf, definitely. Oh man, we are going to have a few too many cards, but we'll have to make cuts as appropriate. I'm just putting in everything I think I have a chance at main decking right now, and then we'll see how much. Alright, so that is 33 cards, which is obviously way too many. So, actually some things I want to take out. I want to take out the Vines, just because we have Briarhorn as a pump trick, and we have so much removal that I don't think it's going to be as necessary. And our creatures are kind of expendable if our opponent uses removal spells on them. Like, we really don't care. I don't think Land of Werewolves is very good here, especially it's really bad to cascade into. I think we can cut the Goblin Patrol. I think we can actually cut both Echo creatures. Although I'm not sure about that yet. One thing I'm just... The thing is Albino Troll is a very good turn to play. The only problem with it is that we're then paying Echo on turn 3, and that means we don't get to play any of our awesome 3-drops. And I would really like to play awesome 3-drops, so I think I might give that the cut. Mastermires is a card that doesn't seem like it belongs. Oh, oops, hold on, that's how it's supposed to be. Oh, I have no clue. I totally messed this up. Cunning Spark Major. Oh, it's probably just because I saw a 4, even though that's a 3, because of the morph. Okay, so that's actually what the curve looks like. So it's a lot of 3-drops, but that's not necessarily a terrible thing. We have 6 more cuts. We could try and get away with 16 land in this deck. How do I feel about that? The only problem is we really do want to get to 4 mana. But once we do, we're usually pretty good. Like, Fire Blast requires us to sack 2 mountains. And this is in essence a 4-drop because we'll have red, red, green, green. Although we will probably end up casting it 4 triple red a lot of the time. I know, Earthquake almost seems just out of place in this deck just because it kills all our stuff. I think I'm going to cut Earthquake. We might bring it in from the board, but I think it's a cut right now. Could cut Blood Knight, but then we're running low on 2-drops, and I would kind of like to make a 2-drop in this deck. Wild Nactyl I don't know, it seems fine. Here, I just want to go piles by color right now and just see, because the thing is if we want a turn 1 green 1-drop, then we have to play a relatively high number of forests. Hold on, I'll just pause this. It was just my mother calling and asking me for some stuff. Alright, back to building this deck. So yeah, what I was saying before is that if we want to consistently play a green 1-drop on turn 1, that means we have to play a higher number of forests. But the problem with that is that our deck is mostly red. So, like, it might be better to cut Pouncing Jaguar and instead play Goblin Patrol, even though Goblin Patrol seems worse than the Jaguar, just because it flows with our color scheme better. Like, although we do have a bunch of double green, and we don't have any fixing pretty much. I don't know. We can try it like this, I think. Okay, anyway, I still have to make a bunch of cuts. Actually, I think I'll cut the Jaguar as well, just because Wild and the Cattle is going to be a 1-mana 2/2 almost all the time, right? And we have 3 really good early drops: the Guide, the Ape, and the Nactyl. I think that's fine. I'm gonna cut Stormbind. It doesn't seem like I can see us if it was any card, it would be all right because then we could just pitch a bunch of land. But I don't see it being the best here. Troll Ascetic, I think is we might board it in against the control decks, but it's very slow. As is this is a 3-drop actually. Skirk Mirage is also pretty slow. That's a 3-drop. That's a 1-drop. So, could we play 16 lands with this? Maybe. So if we played something like 9 mountains, 7 forests. like there's a point whereby we can end up at hard casting blistering parka. It's just that if we do that, then I don't know. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that we have a bunch of we have some number of double red and triple red in blistering firecat and flame driven. Although those can be circumvented, blistering firecats by morphing, and this by just playing an extra mana. So getting triple red's not really a huge concern, but getting early red is, and so I really want to make sure we have a mountain in our opening few cards. And if this deck misses a land drop, I think it's pretty bad. It's not the worst. There's certainly worse decks to miss land drops with. So I don't know. Like if we were playing the Llanowar Elves, then I might be able to go 17. I'm just gonna see here. Is there any card I would really not mind cutting? I think I can actually cut this Gitu Slinger. Well, Gitu Slinger it's either like Gitu Slinger or a 17th land. And I don't know, right? I think because we do have 4-drops we want to make, and we have equipment, and we have things like Mimic Bat that we need to, pay for, and we have some morph creatures and Spike Shuttle that we're going to require a bit more mana. I think it's best if we take out this relatively inefficient burn spell, because although to be fair, we can just have it as a 3 mana deal 2 damage or something if we need to. So that's not the worst. I hardly draft aggro and cube very much, so I'm not 100% sure on how much land I want to run with. Could we take on 1 pinger? No, I like all 3 pingers. So, oh, did I put something back? Oh, hold on. I'm just gonna pause this, I think. Alright, sorry, I had a bit of a hiccup. I had put a few cards back into my collection by accident. One of the perils of doing this sort of draft format. I think this is the list I'm gonna run with. We can always change it in sideboarding. So now we're going to get some basic lands. I think we want 10-7. So alright, so here's the deck we are going to play with, and I will see you all in round 1.